Now that there's stability in Northern Ireland, it's easier to commemorate 1916 in some way, because before that, one wouldn't have felt comfortable. It's something I grew up with, having had a grandfather who fought in 1916 and continued on and did, 1916 he was a volunteer, he was in Marylebone Lane Garrison, he was wounded, and I only found out lately that it was friendly fire, and it might have been when somebody got annoyed at the surrender that they threw their gun down on the ground. I'm only working from the witness statements because my grandfather didn't make a witness statement. He was dead, and it isn't a story that came down in the family. I was just told he was wounded. So obviously they surrendered, and he ended up in Richmond Barracks, and then he was in Dublin Castle Hospital for 2 months, and then Kilmainham, Knutsford, Frongach, and then back again to start all over again, get married, have one son, go out and do whatever they did in the War of Independence, looking for gelignite, blowing up barracks, the Selby quarries in Tala. He apparently got good stuff there. And he was one of those on duty on Bloody Sunday morning. I only know this from his pension application. He said he was on duty, he was designated to go to the Harcourt Hotel, or a hotel in Harcourt Street, but he went to Whitefriars Street Church first to get Mass, and when he got to the hotel, the man was gone. Now, I don't know whether he meant it to be like that or not. I think it has to be done. I have grandchildren. I'd like them to know something about it. It's a big event. I think we have to celebrate it. I'm uncomfortable with the violence of it, but I suppose if you're faced with an empire, they were able to justify that at the time. Now that there's stability in Northern Ireland, it's easier to commemorate 1916 in some way, because before that, one wouldn't have felt comfortable in any way condoning violence. I think that's a feature of that we can celebrate it in some way, not hugely, but honour the people who sacrificed a lot. I mean, my grandfather lost his job. He had a job for 20 years. He was told, no, you don't have your job back, and you've no pension rights either, so off you go. So I think a lot of people sacrificed things, families and children, for causes and for idealism, and in the hope of a better world and a more dignified positions. And I'd also like to pay tribute to the women who were at home while the floorboards were being pulled up looking for arms, and while their husbands were on the run, and looking after small children and putting up with raids on their houses. So I don't think they should be forgotten. I'm delighted to see the women. The Rosie Hackett Bridge is brilliant, but I haven't heard anybody saying that there were something like 48 women in Marylebone Lane Garrison, and they were loading guns, and they were doing the cooking, and they were looking after the injured. Well, not that many were injured, but that's a huge number in one garrison. And they did march out with the men when the surrender came. So I'm delighted to see the women commemorate it.